Hello everybody, I'm Amjad Razal and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel World Voice Vibes. Today I'm making this video to share some insights on the country's opinion about World Bank and especially the people from India, what do they think about World Bank in terms of all the services that the World Bank provides to the country. Before I jump into the video and show you the data, the charts, and everything that I have collected in the past half an hour. So I am just showing the raw data, which will give you insights and some information. And probably I assume that you have never visited or you must have visited this particular web page in the previous months or maybe sometime in few years back in the last few years. But every year, World Bank conducts this survey in different countries. Not all the countries, let me tell you, because when I was looking into the data, I did not find many countries out of all the countries that we have in the world. So I hardly found nearly 50 to 60 countries where this survey was conducted. And the respondents who are working in different sectors, they got the questions via online or maybe email or maybe some, especially in China, they got it on WeChat also. That's one particular platform the Chinese people use. And based on those questions, the people in those particular regions, they responded. And based on those responses, the survey data has been made. So this particular survey data is also available on one of their portals. It is a repository where you find thousands of documents, reports, analysis, and anything that you want to find. If you are a researcher or if you are an intellectual person who would like to see that particular data, that report, that information, that is one particular platform where you will get all the information. Okay. So in this video, I'm just showing you the raw data, like I said. When you just look at it, and I'll also show you the questions and the report, especially from India. Okay, they have made the report of 116 or 120 pages. And if you select any other country, similarly, you will have another report, that particular survey from that particular country, how many respondents participated, and what were the questions, and how did they respond on a point of 1 to 10 scale. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, I'm not taking much time. I'm going to make this video as short as possible. I have also set the timer of 20 minutes. Let me just show you the data. And when we look at the chart, look at the report, based on that only we will have the discussion. And thank you, especially the people who subscribe to my the channel, and also they like the video and they watch the previous video. I also now request you to do, share this video and also show your love again to this particular video as well. My intention of making such videos is just to show you everything from the research point of view, analytical point of view, not just typing anything on Google and believing, okay, yeah, it's right. Okay, this is what it is now. So wherever the reports or the articles or journal, anything that is published, so you need to have an eye to look into those particular perspectives to understand and make your own opinion about how things are working, how things are going on, and how things are progressing in different regions or in the country where you're residing. Okay, I know you must have heard some noise disturbance. My kids are here, they're playing around, so please excuse me for that. And let's start. Okay, so when you go to World Bank organization, this particular web page, you have this particular facility where you can check country opinion survey program. So this is a survey program. You can read from the description that is there on the screen, just below that particular title header. So the World Bank Group Country Opinion Survey, COS program, systematically measures and tracks the perception of the World Bank Group's clients, partners, and other stakeholders who are development practitioners in client countries across the globe. So this survey is all about the people's perception, their belief about World Bank. Okay, and what now the people in India, they think about World Bank. So when you come to this particular portal, you will have all the information. You can just scroll down, and then you will have all the information, like based on the region. Here you can just download the reports. What you have to do is you just have to select a country, or if you want to download the report, you can download the report. So this is like out in the public, so you don't have to worry. Now, how do we see this? I mean, how do we understand the data? So basically, about you, I think you can read from here. So World Bank Group's work effectiveness, relevance, ability to influence the development agenda, its financial instruments, knowledge work, and the quality of engagement on the ground. So there are various factors, various things that play role in making this report and also help World Bank work on the effectiveness and do something better for the countries. So this is just an overview. Let's look from the context data. Okay. So here you can select the regions, whichever country you are residing in or whichever country that you want to select. Like I said, you may not find all the countries. Whichever country is available here, you can just find the data from there. Professional affiliations. So these are the people who work in different sectors. They have been contacted by World Bank and then they use that particular chart or maybe the questions just to put down their answers, their responses, and that's how they collected the information. You can deselect and you can select anything that you want, and based on your selection, the number will increase or decrease. Then you have 3 levels of sentiments on 10 levels of sentiments. So these questions, every single question, I'll show you the question paper also. Okay, I have that with me. I just found it on one of the portals. So this, every question has a point scale, 1 to 10. So how strong do they agree and how they don't agree at all. So now let me just put it this way. Now when it comes to the trust factor, globally, to what extent do you trust each of the following groups to do what is right? So it is asking the person in that particular country about the opinion in the World Bank and all that. Okay. So they have a very favorable opinion about World Bank, 7.1. So you see n equals to 6,412. That is basically the number of people who have responded, because in every country they have not selected thousands of people. So they selected 500 people. So in some country they selected 400. Some countries in China they selected nearly 350 or maybe less. So depending on the availability of the people or maybe the people who they not volunteered for this particular survey, or they want to just participate in the survey for any other thing. Okay, it could be anything. So based on that only they actually got the questionnaire and then they responded. So World Health Organization, this is a favorable opinion of the people in the whole world view. World average is 6.9. The country's central bank, the United Nations, you have all these particular institutions. And now when I was just looking on the other side, development priorities, okay, globally, people, what majority of them responded, World Bank has to first focus on or should primarily focus on education. You can see here nearly 41% of the respondents, they said education should be the important priority. So I can also select based on the effectiveness. So when I select that, so everything will, again, some data you must have noticed it changed. So based on the effectiveness also, people have selected or given education to as a top priority. Okay. So I'll go back to importance. Again, 35% of the respondents, they said job creation and employment, it should work on that as well. Health, 29% of respondents, agriculture, poverty reduction, and economic growth. Somewhere it is ironic to see that the people, especially when they're offering their opinion about World Bank, so how effectiveness should be brought in and how it should reshape its work or whatever. You can understand what I'm trying to say. So they said, if you see from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, eighth position, the economic growth has got the eighth position in terms of priorities. So that means, what I understand, the people who have responded from different countries, they are giving the top priority, to these particular things. So World Bank not just providing funds and debt to the countries or any other thing in terms of financial stuff. I mean, all these other programs also require financial facilities and all. That's true. But the top priority should be improving education, creating jobs and employment, improving the healthcare sectors, and maybe doing something more better for health, and in growing the agriculture, improving the agriculture, and developing the rural areas, villages in different countries. So just like that, they have given these top priorities. Instead of focusing on economic growth, brother, you just first focus on these particular things. That is what their opinion is. Oh, that's a very good opinion. Okay, they have not given economic growth to be the top priority. I know there are countries based on their GDP, they're trying, like there's a tug of war between countries, one country and another country, and they want to be the first country, the second country, the third country, to be in the top 10. But keeping that aside, first priority is worldview, their opinion. Genuinely, I think maybe there will be 10 or 20% chances where people might have selected uh, the response at that particular moment, what they thought, okay, this should be the priority. But when you ask the same people after 10 days or 1 month or 2 months, somewhere they might select the second option, which they have not selected now. I mean, today, if they were doing this opinion, I mean, they're responding. Okay. So this is in general about what the context data is. Similarly, you have perception data. Okay. And being the long-term partner, World Bank group perception. What happened? Okay, I'll select the financial data. There was some technical thing. Last time it was coming. Okay, so this is about the financial instrument data. What do the people think about the facilities provided by World Bank and how they want that to be in terms of facilities and services offered to the country? Now, opinion, this is the knowledge bank. Okay, these are the questions. What is happening? They don't want me to show what. Okay, to what extent do you agree, disagree with the following? No problem. I have these questions in the other format. If that still happens, that's fine. Okay, general information. This is basically from the communication tab, communication bank. So data. Basically, here there are questions given. So all these sectors, people who responded from. So which would you say you are your main sources of news about economic and social development issues globally? So based on that, local television, these many people, even you can see the differences here and there. So these many people, academia people, they said 48%, but worldview is 53%. They said they watched it on local television. 49% of them said they watched economic and social development news on social media, local newspapers and periodicals, local radio, blogs, 5%. That's very less. And even if you see academia, only 5% of the people from academia, from that particular sector, they understood, they heard something or they read something about economic and social development. So this particular category is very less. That means, the blogs are not paid a lot of preference or maybe attention. So from this particular thing that is front of me, I can also understand from this percentage. I mean, there are a lot of people who are watching television. It could be like for news or anything else. Or I mean, in every country there are news channels where they have a lot of debate discussion with the panelists, and also there are news reporters, so anchors and all. So from there, from their channels and from their platforms, people have watched. Social media, 49%, yes, on just on the mobile phone, on a click of a button, you have all the information. Local newspapers, yes. So basically this is what the people, people's behavior is. In terms of blogs, they're not paying a lot of attention, so that doesn't mean blog should be closed. 7%, it's still good number, but there should be growth. Other, we don't know what other, I mean, the things that fall under the category. International radio, and yeah, there are many podcasts also these days. On that, people talk about the financial stuff and the World Bank and all. Okay, this is it. Now going back to the overview point of view, because I see that, yeah, I have 10 minutes left. I will select India here. These are the countries which are available right now. So I'm scrolling down. I found India. So this is what you would see. It's a direct PDF. You will also have the option to download just for your reference, or your research reading. You can also take a print, and like you see here, it's also mentioned public disclosure authorized. So it is out in the public, not to worry. So this particular sheet is about the financial 2021 India country opinion survey report about the World Bank. So this is a very research kind of paper where you will understand what were their objectives for doing this particular survey, what is the methodology they use, and what are the demographic of the sample. I mean, how many people were contacted and how did they respond, and the people who responded, to what category or to which sector do they belong to, and then overall context and overall attitude, blah blah blah, you have all the things. Now, like for example, if this is specifically about India, okay, this is not about world, the people in India, this is the thing, these many people were contacted and this is what they responded. So you see here, from February to April 2021, 1419 stakeholders, I will 1419 1420 stakeholders of the World Bank Group in India were invited to provide their opinions on World Bank Group's work in the country by participating in the country survey form. Okay, good, no problem. Then a total of 440 stakeholders participated in the survey. Okay, out of 1419, 440. That is 31% response rate. So respondents, receive this questionnaire via courier or email or return it accordingly. Fine. And or they completed questionnaire online. Okay, different approach, different medium. Fine. Every country that engages in the country open survey must include specific indicator questions that will be aggregated for the World Bank Group's annual corporate scoreboard. So with this, they also analyze how they're performing and what is the opinion of the other country or their client about World Bank, so that they can just make some changes, or maybe identify some areas of improvement, and then provide better services and stuff to the country. Taking you to the other thing, another thing. Now, like I said, the demographic of the sample, current position. So out of all 422% of respondents, whatever you say, 422 people who 422, right? 440 it is here, but here there are like 422. No issues. So 19% they're working in the NGO or community-based organization. 14% of them work in media. 12% work in the employee of ministerial department or anything. Just like that, private sector organization 7%, office of parliamentarian 6%, office of minister 1%, youth group. Okay, so this is the demographic of the respondents. Going again down, the same version. Generalist education 10% in the education sector. Environment and natural resources 9%. I mean, these are all the different categories. So the data collection, especially in this particular category, so it's diverse. So they have not only contacted just one or two different sectors, they have contacted every possible sector, so that they'll have a diverse opinion and how they can do better. Okay, I mean, that's how they also come up with different facilities and financial facilities, programs, or services by which they can help the country in a better way in any sector that they want. And they can also understand where in that particular country their services or the scope of work is more. Okay, they can prioritize. Education is what they're talking about. Okay, let's do something for education. Come up with some better initiatives and plans and programs, so that they can reach out to that particular country and talk about, let's do something in education. And if agriculture is getting the first position in terms of priorities, okay, topping the list. So okay, coming up some initiatives or helping the initiatives in India, especially in terms of agriculture, and offer the services. That's how they will be doing it. I'm just assuming and telling you, like I said, it's just a raw understanding how exactly the people in the World Bank, they make their own inferences, and how do they analyze the data. That's totally up to them. I'm just reading from whatever I see here. This is my understanding. So many 57% of the people, they were from North India, 14% only from South. East India's 9%, Northeast is 7. So this is the region, the people who are like residing in different places. So this was a question. Like I said, I have got the questions here. So you can see the questions. Which best represents your geographic location? Where are you located in India when you're responding to this questionnaire? Okay. Which of the following agencies of the World Bank Group do you primarily collaborate, work with in India? Okay. So there are definitions which I'm not familiar with, so it's fine. Let's go to the detail thing. Okay. So this is familiarity with the World Bank Group. How familiar are they with the World Bank and all that? Okay, no issues. Now, this is the question which I actually wanted to highlight, because when I was reading the a data just like this from this particular document. So I've come to this particular point. In the present post lockdown scenario, would you say that India is headed in? Okay. So this is interesting. The people who responded, this 420 people, 420 people out of all 436 that you see on the screen, how many of them they think India is heading towards that direction? Okay. And I know, see, the population, if that's a concern, 100, I mean, 140 crore people, so 440 is, I mean, a very decent number. I understand. I totally agree with you. And that is also my viewpoint. But when I looked into another country's opinion survey report, just like this, China or any other country, so they were like 350, somewhere it is more, somewhere it is less. So with that particular understanding, I think it's fine. Okay, we don't have to, argue on that. Okay. So 67% of the people they think India is heading towards that direction. 13% they think it is not going in that direction, and 20% they think they're not sure. Perception of economic opportunity. What is the economic opportunity in the country, and what is the perception of the people there? So 70% said in India, which is actually a very positive sign, positive, response from the people who responded. So 70% of the think that it is beginning to improve. Okay. And I know if you have this thought, okay, people in India, especially if they are working in the financial institutions or maybe the government sectors, so if they are getting these questions, so just to, prove that India is really progressing and they have a favorable opinion and India is progressing, it's beginning to improve. So if there are two options, yes or no, obviously, maybe the majority of them, they just go ahead with yes. We can't just assume that, okay? Or we can just take it like that. Because like we have seen the demographic of the people, these people are working in different sectors. Okay, some are working in private sector, some are working in different sector. Yes, I have this particular opinion right now. So the people who are not aware of what World Bank is, what it does. Okay, let's say I'm meeting people outside in the market or maybe in some institution. It's a company, or if there are 50 people there, so maybe 5 people or 10 people are aware of what World Bank is, okay, and what it does. There are chances where people, like good percentage of people, are not aware of what World Bank is and what it does. Okay, so when I ask them this question and I give them this questionnaire, so probably I would say they would go ahead with saying we don't know, not sure. Okay, there are chances. Okay, the same situation or problem could be in any other country. Okay, but the respond, I mean, this the target audience, especially you saw 450 people, they were targeted, they were sent, and they understood what they know, what World Bank is and what are the financial services and what it does basically, and that's how they responded. Okay, and when you look at the questions also, you need an intellectual person to understand these questions and then answer. Okay, so if you're sending this to somebody who is just a graduate and who is just looking for a job, so see, anybody can read and understand whatever that question is, whatever this question is, right? But from and the analytical understanding, and coming to some conclusion, okay, yes, this is right and this is wrong. So there you need an intellectual what do you say, you need that person to be more intellectual so that he can understand or she can understand and respond properly. Okay, right? So these questions are not just meant to finish within 10 minutes. The person has to sit, think critically, and then respond. Okay, this is what it is, I believe. Okay, and based on that particular response, the data will be collected, and then you will see some survey sheets and things like this. So that's how it is. I know when we were looking at, when right now when we are looking at this particular data, we have different opinions and different thoughts. So let's just see and have a look at it. Okay, so probably whenever data collection or some survey like this are conducted, so always there'll be discrepancies here and there. So we just have to be fine with that. Okay, if there are major discrepancies, the same people who are contacted again later just to talk about what they've responded and what do they know about this particular thing, and they say we don't even know anything, and here you see they have responded yes, or it's in moving in the right direction or the wrong direction. They have no clue, and then you can't have a debate or discussion, or maybe you can't just accept this particular survey report. Okay, these are the very important things we need to keep in mind. Okay, has the easing, yeah, like we were discussing this only. Beginning to improve, yes, 70% of the thing. Continue to decrease, 20% think it's continuing to decrease. And 10% of them think it's staying about the same. I mean, it's the same pace, same level moving forward. Okay, now the development priority. Okay, so economic growth, 26% of the people they think in India, especially in the beginning what I showed you, globally on a world level, people they are giving education as the top or as the first priority. World Bank should focus on education. And in India, people are thinking about economic growth, 26%. Job creation and employment, 26%. Education and skill development, 23%. Health, and there are other things. Okay, this is what they responded. Now, reducing poverty. Okay, in that particular questionnaire, again, here there is a question. Poverty reduction is a broad term that encompasses work in many different areas. Which three areas of development listed below do you believe would contribute most to reducing poverty in India? So out of all, the top three things they selected. So this is based on the percentage, whatever they have responded. So job creation came in the first list and then 36, and this is the average, 39%, 36%. Okay. Now, trust in the institutions, people, 7.3 out of 1 to 10. You see, the question should be down here. To what extent do you trust each of the following groups to do what is right? Okay. So in India, people have responded. The average is 7.3%. They still believe in the Reserve Bank of India. They believe in that because it is the biggest financial institution in India. I mean, the World Bank Group, 6.8, the national government. So just like that, you have all the sectors. The funniest part, what I found is faith-based institutions. So they have included this category. I'm really happy about that. And faith-based institutions, only 5.0. So that means people are giving least priority to faith-based institutions. Whatever the gurus, saints, and Maulana or Mullah or anyone, they whatever they say, so they're giving them the least preference, and they're giving the highest preference to, because it's all about economy, it's all about growth and development. Okay, I could be wrong here, I'm just speaking things, so please correct me in the comment section. Again, corruption here, and the least is like 4%. We don't know what that is in the other category. So in general, I think you got an idea of what this whole survey report is all about. I am not going to make this video lengthy, like I said, like I promised in the beginning. I know this is already 20 minutes gone, more than 20 minutes, I guess. So this document is of 110 pages. And there are other factors where Indian people have responded, how you see there is a growth here, especially working with the World Bank Group increases India's institutional capacity. So back in collaborating with World Bank Group, not collaborating World Bank Group. So earlier, I think it was not collaborating 7.0 and collaborating with the World Bank 7.5%. I mean, this number of people, this number, they believe, okay, if India collaborates with or World Bank collaborates with India, so it will help in the institutional capacity, and there are other things. Okay. You have all the categories here. The same data is available in this particular representation boxes, and so that you will have an understanding, okay, what was the question and how much did they respond, how did they respond. Okay, I'll take you down where you will have the questionnaire, because it is a research paper, so they will definitely provide you with all the questions. So this was how the question paper was made, and this is which was sent to the people over the email, or maybe via postcard, I mean via post. Okay, or any other way. So listed below are a number of development priorities in India, so choose no more than 3. So if I received it, so I selected, let's say, food security, then energy, and then anti-corruption. So just like me, there were like other 400 people who listed down their own top 3 priorities. So based on the average, you saw the number on top. That's how they actually do the analysis. So all these questions are here. Similarly, like I said, now these are the 10-point scale questions. So to what extent do you trust each of the following groups to do what is right? Okay. So the national government, somebody selected 5, somebody select, and this particular question, they selected 6. So this was my individual response for all these particular questions. I mean, there are 18 different categories. So again, from that individual responses, again 400 responses, what was the average? That is how they made the total average on top. So you have all these questions here. Similarly, okay. So how do they actually, what do they use when they check anything about World Bank? How do they understand what World Bank is and what it does? So this was a question: visit the World Bank group web page. So every few days or a few weeks or few months, not at all. So based on those responses also they have given, and you saw that blog was released in the category. Okay, that's it. This is all about the whole survey. Taking you back to this particular web page. Okay, we are here back again. So this is the survey status now. Like I was showing this in the beginning, you noticed it. And then we have the other things as well. So you can select any other country, and then you will have the data just like that. So what is the context data? You saw that in the beginning also. And we spoke a lot about education. Like I said, the world view is World Bank should focus on education, and there are other categories. So in detail, what India thinks about World Bank, you saw in the previous few minutes. And if you also would like to visit this page, you can just go to World Bank organization, and then you can just identify from where you can collect this information. There is another web page of World Bank, open knowledge World Bank organization. So this is an online knowledge repository, beta. So you will have all the things available. If you click on English PDF, you will have the similar document which I showed you. The same document will be open, and then you can just download or maybe read. And you can also see how many people have actually viewed. 2 minutes ago or half an hour ago, they were like 180 or 190. That's the number I remember. And this was a little bit less. It has increased. That means live view, people are watching and people are seeing. So this is the same report, like I said. Okay, so you have all the other information, top items, top authors, and anything that you want, you can come to this open knowledge worldbank.organization, and then you have all the publications. You can just search. Okay, search button will be somewhere here. Click on that search button, and then whatever you want, US, China, any other thing, you just select, you will have this thing. All right, that's it in this video. So you saw good number of people in India, they believe, okay, World Bank is doing good in the country, but there is a lot to do. Especially the people in India, they think World Bank should focus on helping India in terms of economic growth and the few other sectors. And in the world view, World Bank should focus more on education, on health, agriculture, energy. The least, not least I can say, but some preference and some priority should also be given on the economic, on the financial growth as well. So that's it in this video. I'm not going to talk a lot, and I hope you got some insights from this particular video, what people think about World Bank and what World Bank is, and especially what Indians think about World Bank and what do they want from World Bank as well. Every year they conduct this survey, and possibly this year also, or maybe 2023, that report is available. So we will have another video or another discussion on that, where we can compare the data information. And if not anything, maybe you got to know where you can collect the information from about World Bank, or maybe the repository which I showed you just now. So my intention is only to give you knowledge, or maybe there are few things that you are aware of, few things that I'm not aware of. So if you know something which I don't know, especially when I showed everything from this particular thing, how to understand the data information, so please mention that in the comment section, or maybe just reach out to me in any way possible. So I'll definitely learn from you and then improve the quality of these videos and my research, my understanding. And like I said, this is the raw understanding, raw analysis, and just raw, the basic level of everything. Okay, we are not going into very much detail, but you got to understand from where you can have this information. So you can just, if you are a researcher, you know a lot to do with this particular information, so just go to this web page, download it, read it, analyze it, and then share the information with the people, and just raise your voice and talk to the people about all these things, so that with your support and with your initiatives, people also understand that India is also doing something good. This is what the people believe in India about these particular institutions, and this data is collected from these categories and these different sectors, and this is how we responded. This is what the world opinion is. This is what the country's opinion is about something. That's it. I'm not going to talk again, I mean, a lot in detail further. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to this channel. Okay, bye bye, see you in the next video.